Ebony is here. Perfect. I will bring in our guest all the way from the future. She's in Wednesday at noon right now in Australia. Ebony Bridges, how are you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
Good, good. I'm telling my guests you're coming all the way from the future. You're in the future for us. It's Wednesday at noon for you over there.
Yeah, I'm in the future. I know exactly what's going to happen for you guys.
Yeah. How is everything? How are you doing?
Yeah, no, I'm good. Today's my day off, so just training today, lots of training and relaxing in between instead of training and working and training. So it's good.
Yeah. It was like that for a little while, right? But then you had to get back to work.
Yeah. I was really enjoying COVID. Like as soon as it all happened, I was like, hell yeah, how good's this? I can literally train, sleep, eat, train, sleep, eat. It was like, yeah, it was awesome. And now back to
It was the
reality.
dream.
Yeah. I was like, this is what it's all about, just living to train. But yeah. No,
Definitely.
now back to reality.
I saw you. I saw one of your Instagram highlights. You completely KO'd your bag, but that got replaced recently, though, right?
Yeah, I did. I knocked it right off the wall. And then I decided to smash in the pillar because I didn't want to finish. I wanted to finish my workout.
Right.
But yeah, I did. Yeah. I mean, I do that anyway, so it was
Right.
just no.
Regular.
Yeah, I did. I ended up getting it all done like properly in the roof and stuff, which is much better, anyways. So.
Right. So it was improvement waiting to happen. So good stuff.
Yeah, exactly. Everything happens for a reason.
Exactly. Well, thank you so much for joining me today. I'm excited.
Yeah.
I know you're a boxing aficionado, so I thought of this subject for you, especially because I know you watch a lot of old school fights and a lot of fights of the year. So here is the board. I'll put it on the full screen so you could see it. But so we got.
Okay, so how does it work? Okay, so how does this work? Okay,
yeah,
yes.
so we're gonna play.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, so we got
Yep.
Barrera, Morales, Vasquez, Marquez, Hagler, Hearns. Yep. I couldn't find a picture of Taylor, but
oh really? Okay, yeah.
Taylor, Manny versus Juan, Chico versus Castillo, and then of course
these are like wow, these are like some of my favorite. These are definitely
excellent,
favorite fights.
And do you know how to play Connect Four?
I do, yeah. I mean, I haven't played it for a long time, but let's see.
All right, perfect. Well, let's play. You are the guest, so you can go first. So you just basically give me the fight. The first round, we'll kind of go over the fights, talk about it a little bit, and then you just tell me where to drop yours. I'll drop yours, and then we'll play like that.
Okay, so I tell you where I want you to put it first?
Right. You tell me where you want me to go, and then we'll talk about that fight.
Now I gotta like pick fight, like pick actually strategic or like the fight that I want to talk about.
It's all strategy. So yeah, be careful. That's how I get you.
Right. Okay. Okay, let's go Gatti Ward.
Let's go Gatti Ward. But nice choice.
Oh wow, it's like this is so cool.
Yeah, no, I'm glad. I'm glad you like it. Let's talk about Gatti Ward. So you know what's funny? One of the things I was gonna do with you was trilogies and have you rank trilogies, but it got a little thin around 5 or like 6, 7. But Gatti Ward, talk about that and just the significance that had with boxing and maybe with yourself.
Yeah. So obviously, Gatti. I think Gatti at the time with that fight, especially with the first fight, he just started with Buddy McGirt, I think. It was when he just first started with him. Right. So I think it was like his second fight going in. And so I think they were trying to get him to, do that more boxing. And I think Ward, I think they knew just the kind of style of fight that he was. And they're going to bring a fight and that he could try, look to practice that boxing. And then maybe Gatti wouldn't fall into the trap of going and fighting hard. But we all know Gatti. And it ended up being an amazing fight. Yeah, man, that was... The first fight's definitely one of my favorite fights. Gatti's always a warrior. Ward and Gatti, both of them, especially Ward. So he's really tough. So, yeah, I mean, it's definitely up there as my favorite.
Yeah, no, it was such an incredible just feat of like humanity. Like you really saw how humans can push themselves in the sport of boxing, because that was just incredible.
I feel like you don't see that kind of fight these days. Like, I mean, we have fighted these. I mean, we had some great fights and actually really great fights in 2019. But I think just this level, and especially the fact, so this is a thing that's very different from back then to now, is that this was a 10-round fight. It wasn't even like a world title fight. Like, there's no way these days you'll get two people to fight like a hard fight like that for 10 rounds. Like, people won't take the risk for just a 10-round fight. You know what I mean? Like, against someone as tough, like say Gatti against someone as tough as Ward. So, you know, I tend to say like the only time they're taking risk, and even then it's harder, is in the world title fights. So, I mean, a few of these fights, I'm thinking Israel. Sorry, we'll go back onto that one. Yeah, I was just gonna say the Marquez Vasquez. Was that 10? That was 10 rounders, wasn't it? As well.
Marquez.
Oh, I could be wrong. I could be wrong.
Those were for championships already. The first one ended like in 6. The second one, I think, ended early also. Yeah.
Sorry. Anyways, I was just thinking, was that a 10 rounds as well, or was that? Because I think looking up there, they're all, except for Gatti Ward, they're all 12 rounders ones.
Yeah, I believe.
So,
I think you're right.
Anyways,
right. That's a good point. I hadn't realized that those were all 10 rounders. That another thing about those guys is, I want to say, I think all 3 fights were back to back to back, right? I don't think.
And they were in 18. It was like over in 18 months. Like you would never see that either. Like, you know, these guys need to recover from that. But, you know, I think Gatti was keen to get back in there. You know, obviously, because I think the first one was a split decision. So I think he obviously wanted to get back in there and, you know, give it another crack. And then I just loved how after the second fight, you know, Gatti didn't need to really go for a fight again, but he did it to help out Ward. So I just love that bond that they got, you know, from that, and it just shows. And I love that whole story. I just think it's amazing, and I just love how after the fights when Ward retired, he like walked Gatti out and trained Gatti. Like, that's the shit that I'm talking. That's boxing, man. Like that's I love that. I love that whole story about that. So. Yeah, and just the fight was epic. Like,
of course, yeah, and I think the fact that the fight was like that. Another iconic thing about that was when they were like in the same hospital room together and just kind of laughing. It's like, wow, like that's the man that just did that to you, and it's just love.
Yeah,
you know,
but that's what boxing is like. I mean, I feel like, I don't know. I mean, so maybe there's not as many people out there like that, but I mean, I would feel the same. I think, you know, boxers in general, we all know what we push ourselves through. We know what it's like. So you can't help but have compassion for each other, I think, in that sense. And if you don't, then, you know, that's you and you, whatever. But I mean, I feel like, you know, it's hard not to have that compassion and respect, especially after a fight like that, you know, like, you know, I know I've only had, like, you know, obviously I only had 4 fights, but one of my fights, my second fight, it was my fight back after my broken ankle. And we had this girl, and she was tough. Like, I ended up stopping in the 3rd round, but the beating that she took, like, and just not backing down and kept throwing punches, and, like, you know, she was outclassed and like outpowered, but man, I had so much respect for her. I was just like, you know, and you can't help that. Like, you know, you got to have respect for people that are just tough and just don't give up, you know.
Yeah, definitely. All right, I will go next. I am gonna go Chavez Taylor, I believe, here.
Yeah. That first fight upset me, but yeah, go.
I was gonna say, but what do you think? Should it have been stopped? Should it not have been stopped? What's your take on that?
It upset me because I'm a Chavez fan and he wasn't winning, and it broke my heart. I'm like, what are you doing? Like, I mean, you know, don't get me wrong, you can't, you know, Taylor, you can't take anything away from Taylor. He's super fast. He's always known for his fast hands and just that work rate. And, you know, look, I was happy that Chavez won because I'm a massive Chavez fan, but at the same time, I knew what had happened in the previous rounds. So, and when that happened, I was like, yes, thank God. But at the same time, I was like, oh, that's that. Wow, like that was so lucky. Like, and you have to feel sorry for Taylor. Yeah, but I think that it's not that it shouldn't have been stopped. Like, I mean, it's easy to say from an outsider's perspective, like it shouldn't have been stopped. But I think, you know, again, the ref probably he's not really listening too much to the bells, you know, in the moment. These things happen. We've seen it a few times. But I mean, obviously that was probably one of the worst. But and considering they were kind of beating each other up anyways for like 12 rounds, like, I don't know, but
yeah, it's a tough call. I think the fact that there was only 2 seconds left and he stood up, you know, you kind of want to give him the benefit. You know what I mean?
definitely,
But
yeah,
at the same time,
definitely.
I think if that, you know, had that knockdown happened and there'd been a round left or something, I could see where you stop the fight and it's not that bad of a call because you don't want that guy to keep taking more.
Exactly,
You know, because
and
Taylor at that point
yeah.
in that condition was in bad shape.
Yeah, and at that point, I mean, the ref's job is to keep us safe and to keep fighters safe. That's his job, obviously, to maintain rules, and there's rules for a reason to keep us safe. So, you know, in the end, he's just, you know, doing his job, and yeah, I mean, it is what it is.
Right.
But we all know what happened in the second fight.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. It finished the business. All right, you're
yeah.
up next. Where do you want to go next?
Well, okay, Chico Jose.
Chico Jose. All right. All right. Let's talk about that. That was where. Do you remember where you were the night that that Chico Jose had? Like, do you remember that moment where and all that?
No.
Oh, you didn't watch Diego versus Castillo Corrales?
Oh, oh yeah, I have. Sorry. I was like, wait a second. I'm thinking like Jose. I just know the last. Okay, Castillo. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah,
I'm like, what?
I
I was
had
like
to
looking at
do
this.
it for like because last names wasn't gonna fit all up there.
Yeah. I was, and for some reason wasn't clicking onto me. I'm like, Chico, but who's Jose? And I'm like, what the fuck? And you know what's funny? You know what's funny with this fight? And I can't see, even though I'm wearing glasses. You know what's funny with this fight? I've literally watched this fight, like over 50 times. Like, it was 2000, wasn't it?
Something like that. Yeah.
Yeah. Anyways, so funny story with this fight. So when I first started amateur boxing as fighting, like I've always watched boxing, but when I started amateurs, I used to, before each fight, I used to watch this fight. So like every time I had a fight, I would watch this fight, and just, it's silly. It's so funny looking back because, you know, I'm trying to build that mindset, like don't quit, like, you know, no quitting. Like there's you never know what's gonna happen. You can't quit till it's over. Like, and so even though I was only doing like 3 rounds, you know, and back then thinking about it now that I obviously do more rounds, and it's a bit different to like these kind of fights. But yeah, I would be like, you know, yeah, like, you know, Chico, like, you know, came back and like he was out, and just the back and forth and stuff. And that was one of those fights and those moments where I used to draw on when I'm like feeling like not that I never really feel like I want to give up, but if I felt like I was tired, or I'm like, oh, I'm tired in training, or I'm tired in my fight, I'd be like, nah, like fuck this, you know. And I had a thing where I think for me, when I was, especially as starting out as an amateur, the first round I'd always just come out like fucking psycho. I mean, let's be honest, I still kind of do that, but I mean, I did it really bad. And the first round I'd kind of not like think as much, and I always feel like if you look at my fights, I get hit the most in the first round, and I feel like my first rounds are always my worst rounds. And but it's like about coming back, and I'll always finish really strong. Like I would always win my fights because I would just demolish them in the third round. And it was like most people, when they're slacking off, and this is just amateurs obviously, but you know, when you're slacking off in that last round, I was the one that was like putting in double time. And it was like those kind of fights where I'm like at the end, like you go, that's when you got to push. And so that's what the significance of that fight is in my life. And yeah, I probably know it off by heart, I reckon. I know exactly what's gonna, I could probably like reenact it.
Man, that fight was so man, it was just so incredible. I remember at the time I had a friend who was a big Chico fan, and I at the time, for whatever reason, like respected Chico, but was just more of a Castillo fan, I think.
Yeah. Well,
especially I think
because he has a bigger history.
Right. I think also with Castillo having kind of had that close fight with Mayweather, and
yes, that's right. Yeah,
you know what I mean, and it kind of being like, man, like he didn't get the recognition he
I watched that the other day.
You know, yeah. And
yeah.
And so when Castillo had him and dropped him twice, and then he dropped the mouthpiece, and I was like, cheating. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like,
and it's tactics, though.
And then Corrales just gets up and starts hitting him with the hammers, and I'm like, oh my god, what's happening? What's happening? And you see, I always remember seeing James Toney in the background jumping up and like, because he's a big Corrales.
I love James Toney.
Friends.
Yeah.
And he's like jumping up in the
Okay.
background, like, yeah, he's like a big guy in the blue suit. And he's like hyped
Yeah.
up. And I always remember that. And my friend actually had saw it. And he was on the other side of the room. And he like jumped on top of me, just like super excited, like.
Oh yeah. Well, see, I didn't watch it live. I watched it later on in DVD. You know, because early I would have been, I would have been pretty. I would have been like 10 or something like that. I can't, you know, I can't really. I definitely didn't watch that one live. But as I started getting into boxing, because I started getting into boxing like mid 2000s, and I've still got a heap of DVDs. But yeah, like I always watch all those fights like DVD. So yeah, I just remember watching that fight, and it was like one of my favorite in the DVD set. Like, you know, you ones that you thrash. Yeah. And then obviously as I got older, it's like YouTube.
It's the best. It's the best. All right. What am I gonna do here? I'm gonna go a little Hagler Hearns, I think. Let's talk about Hagler Hearns. Man, that was. Do you agree that that's like the most violent 8 minutes of boxing ever?
Yes and no. I feel like this fight's like it is. Look, don't get me wrong, especially that first round, like all the rounds. But I feel like I'm not gonna. Fuck, I'm gonna get shit with this, but I feel like it's a little bit overrated as well. But I think it's also no. Wait, but I think it's also because it's only 4 rounds. So I feel like for me, it wasn't satisfying enough. Like, I don't know. Like, I don't get me wrong. It was a savage 4 rounds, and it was just insane. Like, you know, I'm a huge Hagler fan, Hearns as well, but a very big Hagler fan. And yeah, so obviously that fight, you know, I loved because of Hagler. But yeah, I mean, I've watched it a few times, but it's not. It's not. It's not right up there for me. I mean, it's great, but it's. And I know it's funny to say that, but if you like, if you talk about my favorite fights, they've all gone for it's like a war for like, you know, 10, 12 rounds. Yeah. And don't get me wrong, like they're insane. Like if you were to put you know, like pick best rounds of fights, you know, then definitely those rounds would be in it. Like if you pick some rounds, kind of like we'll go back on. I keep going to go to the other fights and go to them, but yeah, we'll talk about them later. So that's where I stand.
We can. I mean, yeah,
but I'll save my speech. But no, because I talk a lot. We've got to chill. But yeah, no, I do love it. I'm not going to say that it's definitely not one of my favorite fights, and I know you have to watch it. You can't not. But I think I've got a lot of other ones above it.
Right? No, I know what you mean. I feel like the reason why, I mean, not only was it was very violent, right? But but I think why it's kind of held in such a high regard is because you knew these guys were like all-time greats. Dude.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Like it's a little different than
the Fabulous Four.
Ward and like, you know, Mickey's kind of almost finishing his career, and
yes, of course.
I don't think he had become champion once prior. You know, like some of the other ones was like these guys are good, but this was like, and I think by the time it built up to them, it was like, you know, kind of like a Mayweather Pacquiao, and imagine them like going tooth and nail for 8 minutes. You know what I mean? I think that's where the significance comes from.
I think you're right. I mean, I think when you look at the whole picture of all that kind of stuff, and I think also with that fight, because now when you see two fighters at the top, like you barely see stoppages.
Right. Yeah.
You know, like of that level, it tends to always go to points. I don't know. There's not many KOs or of too high level or like that kind of war where, you know, like this whatever that they get tagged or whatever. I feel like I can't remember, you know, like a Triple G or, I mean, can obviously with that last fight with Kovalev, but you know, the fights, they don't really get stopped when it's two even 50-50 fights. It's always, if it's 50-50, it's going to go to the scorecards. Like, you know what I mean? Where these kind of fights, I think that's where that fight was even, like you said, two of the elites, and it was so savage that it ended up stopping early. So
definitely. All right, you are up. Where are you going?
Well, I'm not very. I feel like I'm not being very strategic, but I'm definitely not being strategic here. Okay, many.
I feel like you're prepping for the post-fight interview, like you're about to lose or something.
I feel like
an excuse already.
Shit, Manny Marquez.
Manny Marquez.
One.
All right. Oh man, those were some fun fights.
Some of my favorite Manny Pacquiao fights for sure.
Yeah.
I even think the first one's really close. I think it was like maybe the first one, which was it the first one that was a bit like really.
The first one's Manny dropped him 3 times in the first.
Oh no, that was the first one. Okay, not that one. No. Yeah. Oh, but that was crazy. Actually, that was crazy. That with that happening and then going on. Yeah, fuck. I don't know, but I think it was. I don't know. There was one of them. I don't know if I thought it was the first one, but yeah, really controversial. But
2 and 3 were very close. A lot of people thought Marquez might have taken the third one. If you ask Marquez, he thought he won all of them. Yeah. but 2 and 3.
It took him 3 fights and 3 losses to figure Manny out. I mean, I bet he did. But he did. You know. So
it's one of those weird like things where. Like Pacquiao won the 3 fights, all officially, all on decision, but like kind of the exclamation point came with Marquez. So it's kind of, with the knockout. So it's kind of hard to
true. That's true.
Who really is kind of the more superior fighter? I think at least among both of them. Obviously, I feel resumes Manny probably surpassed them with all the titles and all that. But
I think Marquez is underrated. I think Marquez is pretty underrated when you compare to some of those Mexican fighters, like the Morales and the Barrera, and that. I think he's a little bit underrated. But man, he can fight. I tell you what, and that was awesome. I loved all those fights, and that's what I loved about those fights back then is they actually do rematches and trilogies and stuff. Like it's so rare now. Like
it's. I'm telling you, I was gonna do trilogies. But I kind of ran thin around like 6 and 7 because I was like Pacquiao.
Him getting the fights?
Yeah, like as far as like doing because a lot of these are trilogies.
You got Barrera have you got Morales and Barrera up there?
I do. I got Morales, Barrera.
I reckon Macaco. Monkey. No.
Portuguese?
Yeah. I speak Portuguese and Spanish. Yeah, I'm like, what the hell? My brain's having a freeze. Cool. You know what? And I'm just gonna throw off here. I don't know I know you've probably seen it, but one of my all-time favorite trilogies, which isn't on here, that I think is very underrated, is Harding versus Andres. Jeff Harding versus Andres. He's an Aussie versus obviously an American. But if you haven't seen that is okay, you have to watch this trilogy because it is that if you can tell my taste, it's right up there. And they're like a lightweights, and I'm pretty sure it's lightweight. And they just go to war, and it's like these guys but bigger. Like and it's epic. And Jeff Harding, who's Aussie, got really under was obviously coming in the underdog, and that kind of blew him up. But yeah, I'll send you it.
Yeah. Please.
You have to watch this trilogy, and I think obviously because Harding's Aussie, I think he gets a little bit thrown under. But once you watch this fight, you're going to be telling everyone about it. I promise you.
It's funny. I was going to put on who's that French bantamweight champion, Mampas Mansour or something like.
Oh yeah.
I was gonna put that fight because I remember that fight when I think you posted you were watching it a month ago or something.
Yeah,
I remember that, but I couldn't find the other guy, and it's been so many years since I've seen it. I don't want to bring it up and then like not
be really like what's going on
about,
Yeah.
I remember watching it and being like, oh wow, like these guys are. And that was kind of the beginning of fights coming up on like YouTube and on the internet and stuff. Because that's how I didn't even find out about it was kind of through,
exactly.
Because it wasn't on American TV at all.
Yeah, true.
All right, I am okay. Let me see. I am gonna go Marco versus Eric Morales. Woo! Now this one for me, I still think that first fight is probably the best fight I've ever seen.
It's
like I remember watching it at the time. and I watched it after it happened, but I remember being like, oh my God, like what, like no one's like it just they refuse to lose to the other person. Like that will was like incredible.
Yeah.
You could tell they were hurt, and then they get pissed off because they remembered like who hurt them. You know what I mean?
Because they hated each other. Like they actually hated each other.
Yeah.
Yeah, like and I don't even know if they like each other now, but
they actually
definitely they do. Yeah.
Surprisingly,
definitely. Yeah, it's pure grit, man, and just not giving up. It was like well, obviously toe to toe, but it was like one person would be like, ba 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 ba, Barrera would be like, and then Eric would like counter and be like, I'm not getting you, and it was just like counter to counters to counters, like, you know, because they just wouldn't let the other person finish or like be the one like to have the last punch, you know what I mean? So yeah, definitely. And all the fights were fantastic, but I think I feel like the first ones are always the best. When you look at all the trilogies, they're the most exciting. Yeah.
Yeah,
I mean, it could be because it's our first time seeing it, if you know what I mean. So it's more exciting for us, and because when the second time around, you're like, okay, we know what's going to happen, and they tend to always be this. They tend to be the same, but maybe slightly smarter, so not as much damage. But to be honest, they're pretty much all on the same thing. But I mean, yeah.
I think that's a good point, is that it's the first time we're seeing it, so we're like, oh wow, you know, like it's a shock. It's shock to like everyone, you know.
And I feel like these days you don't get. I feel like boxers are just smarter, like you know what I mean, like as in they fight smart. Like you don't see as many two warriors going at it. I mean, not as much.
Right.
Because
definitely not as much.
Because it's more about, they really are, especially like say since Floyd Mayweather, it's a lot about hitting and not getting hit, which is what it should always be like. But I mean, if you look at these kind of fights, the fighters, they're like, I don't give a fuck about getting hit. I'm just gonna like get in there and just punch, you know. And that's like obviously like that's my mindset. That's how I fight and that's how I spar. And that's, you know, and everyone always says to me, my coach is like, and everyone who's experienced as well, like other fighters who are retired, they're like, you don't want to be like that, Ebony. Like, that's not smart. And I'm like, but I like to fight. Like, I know it's not smart, but I want to enjoy what I'm doing.
I want to have fun in here.
And I mean, I enjoy getting hit. No, not really, but you know what I mean. Like, and anyways, like, it's stupid. It's stupid, but I mean, that's just how it is. But yeah, okay, I'm gonna have a shot. All right, let's go. Okay, let's go back to Chico and Jose.
Chico and Jose.
I say it with a Portuguese accent. Chico.
Chico. Oh, I am going to go Israel Rafael, and I won. That's it.
Oh, what?
I won.
How did I not see that? I can't believe that. What the fuck?
Well, we typically go to 3. So
you were just waiting for 3. What the hell? Here I am thinking I've got to build up the side. Oh my god! I want another play.
Yeah, you just
was that your easiest? I totally left it. Wow, I'm so dumb.
But let's real quick. Let's talk about Vasquez Marquez, because
I can't believe I just lost like that. I'm angry. Like, that was like the blondest. That was almost like I just gave that to you. People are going to be watching this. People are going to be watching this thinking this is rigged. Like, how did she miss that? How did I miss that? And it was because I didn't. I'm just thinking in my head, I don't want to go there because I need to build up over this side. But like I shouldn't. I'm thinking in my head, I shouldn't be talking about I shouldn't go there just because we haven't talked about it. I should just keep building my thing. Dumb. Anyways.
That happens to be the last fight too. So typically we go 2 out of 3. If you got time, we'll play again if you want. If you got
definitely. I'm gonna focus more on the connect. I'm getting too taken away by the fights. Okay, let's go into this one.
Let's talk about Vasquez Marquez real quick.
I love that you picked this because I think this is one of my favorite, easily one of my favorites. I love all the fights. Like, wow, what warriors as well. Like another high pace, and they were lightweights. I think, was it lightweights?
Super or junior featherweight, super bantam. So 122. They were 122.
Oh wow, yeah, super bantam. Okay, yeah. And I just love these and the lighter weight kind of fights. I mean, I just think they're so exciting and so action packed, and I think that's one of the things that lacks. I mean, even this day is the emphasis on those weights, and that was just such an epic fight. Oh, I mean, all of them.
Yeah,
it was 4, wasn't it? Was it 4?
That was, and I remember
maybe 3.
There were 3.
I think there's 4.
No, actually,
I don't know why I'm thinking 4.
There was 4.
Okay.
The 4th one happened like 2 years later, 3 years later.
Yeah.
Pacquiao won it, but yeah, I still think I feel like the first one was the best one, but the third one is still my favorite. Like,
okay, yeah. I mean,
you know, like because I loved Israel. Like, I actually went to the wild card at that time. So like I met Israel. Like, Israel was real humble, real nice guy. He used to wear the Jordan boxing shoes.
Yes.
And he would tell me that they're heavy. He would tell me, he's like, don't get them, they're too heavy. But
how funny. Well, I mean, all of those. I think the first 2. Was it the first fight? There was. I have to remember. Is the second and the third fight in the same year? Or was it the first and the second was in the same? I think it was the first fight because it got fight of the year, and then the second and the third fight were in the same year because I just remember them being all so like epic. And I know that the third fight got fight of the year, but the second fight still could have been, you know, still got it, but they were just both in the same year. So I mean, they were just both incredible fights. Yeah, I feel like
that's a very good point actually, because had they been in 3 separate years, they probably would have swept all the fight of the year.
I think so. I definitely think so. Yeah. Really exciting. I see what you're getting at with the first and the third. I think the second one gets forgotten a little bit because of that. To be honest.
Right. That's a good point.
But I mean, they're all epic fights. I think I only just watched them at the beginning of COVID again. I've probably watched them so many times, but yeah.
Yeah, those are great fights. All right, we will go again.
Yeah, that was bullshit.
Gotta stay. Well, just stay sharp this time. Gotta stay sharp.
Yeah, right. What the hell? Not even giving me a hint. Not even giving me a look when I was going over there. Oh my God.
I didn't, huh?
Yeah, good. You're good.
When you said when you were looking at the board and like thinking, I was like, oh, she doesn't see it at all.
What the hell? I should have just gone straight in there. But do you know what? Because I was like, nah, I'm not going to go to it just because we haven't talked about it. Like, you know, I'm going to build my. Oh my God. Anyways, you watch now. I'm going to get you back.
All right, let's see. Here we go.
Fucking hell.
All right, I will go first.
Okay, yes, please go.
Let's see. I am gonna go. It's funny because I've played the game a few times now.
So you know.
Well, like I've noticed that, like, because I get into talking about the fighting too.
Yeah.
But I think maybe because I've played the game more recently because I'm playing with people.
Of course, you're getting better at it.
Into the game a little faster, and people are kind of you know, still kind of hyped about whatever we're talking about. All right, I'm gonna go Chavez Taylor.
Yeah.
All right, what do you got? Who are you going? So the next 2 games we just kind of play the game.
Yeah. Okay. Alrighty. Okay. Also, what do you think? I just want to bring up Chavez Taylor, and what about the second fight? He came out and just blitzed him. Yeah, I don't remember how much past that was, but Taylor came out completely a different fighter.
Right.
So yeah, I just want to mention that. Okay, let's go. Yeah, I'm gonna go.
Completely different. He was. I want to say it was a good 4 or 5 years or something in between.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
It was a while.
Yeah. Okay. So let's have a look. Hey, wait a second. I see now why you go Chavez Taylor, because then it's 4 of course. Okay, let's go. Let's go. Shit. Okay, I'll go Manny Juan.
Manny Juan. All right. I am gonna go Marco and Eric over here.
You're not doing this again. Let's go. Rafael.
Rafael, Israel. Rafael.
Yeah.
All right. It's a good idea, because that's what I was planning. That's definitely what I was gonna do.
I fell for that twice, and I've definitely got too many hits to my head, and I got to start changing my style.
Yeah, you got to start listening to the old timers and not one like that.
All right.
All right, I'm gonna go Israel Rafael 2. Where are you going?
Okay, I'm gonna go Chavez versus Taylor.
All right. What are you doing over there?
I'm mirroring you.
I don't know. I'm not liking what's happening over there. Let's see. I'm gonna go Hearns Hagler.
Okay, I'm gonna go Hagler Hearns too.
Hagler Hearns too. Oh man, that's not good. Okay, I'm gonna go Hagler Hearns again.
Okay, I'll go Manny Juan.
Manny Juan. Oh, well done there. I hadn't seen that little situation there. Oh man, you got drastically better after one game.
I was literally thinking about the fights the first time around. I get too excited about fights. Now it's fucking game on. No fucking around now. Let's go.
All right, let's see. Okay, I'm gonna go Manny Juan here. What do you got?
Okay, I'm going to go. Gatti Ward.
Gatti Ward. What are you trying to do over there? Oh, okay. I think. Okay, I am gonna go. I'm gonna go Israel Marquez.
Okay. Okay, I'll go Chavez Taylor.
Chavez Taylor. And hey!
I gave it away. Why did I do that?
I kind of set you up, to be honest.
You did. That was like, damn it. That was like, yeah, that's all right. That's like jabbing to. That's like jabbing to like the right of my head, so I come to your right to take me out with the.
See, there you go. That's strategy.
But, that was. I felt like that was a little bit more fair, so I'll let you have that one.
You want to go again? You want to go one more?
Yeah, well, because we're talking trilogies, let's do it.
Yeah, let's do it. Oh, so we got fans are coming in here. Feeling your opponents because these combos she throws out and of. Sorry for the bad joke. I got Raul Flores. Oh, there you go.
Oh, yeah. Jeff Fennick. Hi, man. He's definitely. I think he has to. I can't really think of anyone that would be. I mean, besides. Yeah, I think Jeff Fennick's probably one of my top Aussie boxers for sure. I mean, he had 3 world titles, and I just love the way he fought. I mean, he's one of my favorites. Like, his style is my style, the kind of style I like, just relentless, and his conditioning is just key. So Jeff Fennick's definitely a fave of mine. And if you're not following, or if you're not on the path of watching his fighter Brock Jarvis is a super bantamweight, and he's up and coming, and he is incredible, and he's just like Jeff Fennick, but I have to say, I think he's going to be better. So watch him up.
Really? What's his name?
Brock Jarvis.
Brock Jarvis. Wow. What weight class is he in?
He's super bantam, so he's very similar to Jeff. And man, he's incredible. Like, we're talking like triple rips, triple hooks. Like triple on the left and triple on the right. Like he's got the fast hands, and he honestly reminds me of Jeff Fennick, but like newer, like as in. More modern, and I think just a little bit. I think he's going to be better. So please watch Brock Jarvis.
That's high praise, saying he's going to be better than Fennick.
I think so. He's got Jeff Fennick as a coach. His conditioning's key. He's a super bantam. I think he should go up to feather, but I think he's planning to stay still at super bantam. But yeah, definitely. If you haven't checked Brock Jarvis out, check him out.
Brock Jarvis. You're gonna have to send me a video of him too, because hopefully
there is one. Australia's crap. When they put fights on TV, they don't have them anywhere else. But I'll
really?
confirm it. Yeah, his last fight was against a really, really tough Filipino, like really strong, and it was his first like real big proper step up fight, and he really impressed me. Like, I mean, like he's always been a bit of a prospect, but yeah, to see that fight and see how he handled it all was like really good. Anyways.
You know what's crazy? Because I get these pictures off of my old Ring magazines. And I have, like a big old tote full of them, right? And so the other day I came across, or as I was looking for this one to cut out fighters for this, I came across.
Cut these out of your Ring magazine?
Wait, what was that?
You cut these out of your Ring magazine?
I did. I know.
That's right. Yeah.
Had I taken better care of them, I probably wouldn't have, but they're kind of beat up already. You know what I mean?
Yeah, fair enough.
But I saw the hype for Green versus Mundini on one of them, and I was like, "Wow!" I remember when this was like a big deal over there. Was that like a huge deal? Like when that went down?
Yeah, it was. It was. I mean, it was probably one of the biggest Aussie to Aussie fights hype wise, but and Mundine's, right up there as well. Jeff Fennick, he gets hated on a lot just because of some of the shit that he says, but you can't hate him. You know what I mean? He's a bit like a Mayweather, like as in he sells tickets because you want to see him lose, like, but he can box. But he needs to retire like for 10 years now. I fought on one of his undercards last year in October. Wow. And it's like he said he was retiring, but now there's talk of him fighting again at the end of the year. So I don't know. It's just Mundine. Just it's hard. I could imagine it's hard to give it up. If you're in good health, then it would be hard to stop fighting. So, but yeah. Anyway.
Raul says, with the exception of maybe Julio Cesar Chavez, no one cut off the ring better than Jeff in the 90s.
Hey, sure. I love that. Because I watch a lot of Julio Cesar Chavez for the cutting off and the cutting in. How he uses his parries to get in and cut distance. Mm-hmm. I love watching Chavez for that. And I really should watch some more Fennick more recently. I used to watch him obviously back in the day, and I haven't really watched much of him lately. But I think I might get onto him and watch him again.
Yeah. No, it's you know what? I haven't seen a Fennick fight in a long time. I think I might be with you on that. I want to
do it, man. Zuma ones I think are really rated up there, so you got to. I think it's a trilogy as well. Yeah. So and they're all done outside. I think in Sydney or in Australia. That's a really cool thing. We have the stadium fights in Australia. Really popular. Yeah, you guys have like Manny Pacquiao and Horn. Like that stadium kind of feel outside because we have to because in Australia we fight during the day on Sundays because it hits the market for America in a Saturday night. So all our fights are always during the day on a Sunday if it's for a worldwide kind of viewing.
Were you there for Pacquiao versus Horn?
No, I wasn't. I wanted to be there, but I didn't make it up there, unfortunately. Now I'm like,
Horn won that fight?
I do think Horn won that fight.
Really?
And I think he won it because he won it because of the tactics that he used were probably illegal, but you do what you got to do to win. And if the ref's not stopping you and the ref's not giving you warnings and all that kind of stuff, then you do what you got to do. You do what you have to do until the ref pulls you up, if you know what I mean. So I think you can look at it and go, oh, you shouldn't have won because he got a headbutting and he was roughing up and he was doing this. And I'm like, yeah, he was, but that's what helped him win. Like he did what he had to do to win. And if it's not getting called up, then it's part of the tactics, Yeah. And I know a lot of Americans like he was almost out in the 9th round. Firstly, Horn's always almost out in the 9th round. It's his fucking like, it's his like, what is it? Like he's kryptonite round, like the 9th round. Like if you want to get Horn out, it's the 9th round, like, but he always comes back from that 9th round and he comes back from it. And I mean, one round doesn't really cut it. I think that Manny Pacquiao underestimated Horn.
For sure.
He gave him way too much confidence in the first few rounds. He let him win those first few rounds. And let him rough him up and let him do all that kind of stuff. And then it was just like a snowball effect. But that's, I'm Aussie as well. But I definitely think, and I think a lot of the distribution, I don't know what the word is. A lot of the arguments in it is because Horn's a dirty fighter. But it doesn't matter if you're a dirty fighter. You still win. Like, unless the ref's stopping you from doing those elbows and doing those things and whatever, the fact is you're still dominating the fight if the ref doesn't stop it.
Right. Raul asks, did you watch a lot of Kostya Tszyu fights?
Yes, yeah? I did. I love that you bring this up because Kostya Tszyu pretty much got me into boxing.
Really?
So like Kostya Tszyu, like early 20s, 2000s. That's who I used to watch, Kostya Tszyu. It was all Kostya Tszyu. He was huge over here. I had a boyfriend that even had the Kostya Tszyu rat's tail thing.
Oh yeah,
huge,
that was it back there.
Yeah, I mean, if you're a Kostya Tszyu fan, yeah, right. I mean, I didn't have it. Like, I refrained from getting that kind of haircut. But if I was a dude, I probably would have done it. It was like cool, like yeah, fuck yeah, But yeah, huge Kostya Tszyu fan. And
was he past his prime when Ricky got to him? Do you think? Would you say?
I definitely think so. Like Kostya Tszyu was and heavy. I think Kostya Tszyu was better in the lighter weights, like before he started stepping up and getting heavier. But obviously at the beginning of his career. But yeah, I it's funny because I watch back at Kostya Tszyu now, and I mean I love him and I think he's great, but he was just so basic, but he was so good at the basics. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? And obviously powerful, like just really beautiful. 1-2s, these kind of things, and just stalking, cutting. Like he didn't really have a lot of head movement. Like it was just he got hit a lot. Like but he was just very good at the basics, and he was he was also relentless and knew how to finish. But his son Tim Tszyu's really big name in. I mean, if you're into boxing, he's a big name in Australia now. He's coming up and coming. So they've got a big fight. Kostya Tszyu, Tim Tszyu and Jeff Horn, which is supposed to be made at the end of the year. It was actually supposed to be done now, like in June, but obviously COVID. So they're rescheduling, I think, to September. But I mean, I don't think Tim Tszyu's is the same as his dad. But I think that happens a lot with, expecting what you expect out of, like look at Chavez Jr. No comment. Right. Anyway.
Good example. That's a good example.
Yeah, right. Yeah. You can't always, bet on them because of their dads. Anyway, but no, but Tim is good. I think he still needs to be, I think Horn's going to be his biggest test because I don't think he's.
Isn't he young? Doesn't he only have like a handful of fights?
17-0.
Oh, I thought he was like under 10 still. I heard about him, but I haven't paid attention recently. I didn't know he had fights.
I'd have to look, but I'm pretty sure he's 17-0. Or it could be 15-0. Let's have a look.
Yeah, if they're talking about
15-0. Yeah, 15-0. With 11 KOs. But to be honest, he only really started stepping up in the last maybe 3 fights, and then they're not really. They weren't nothing against him, but this is my non-biased kind of opinion. Is that the guys that he is fighting, they didn't have like they don't have the power behind him. There's nothing really to worry him too much. So he I think he still needs to work on his defense a little bit, because when he comes against a puncher like Horn, I think that's where he's going to get in a little trouble. But at the same time, his boxing IQ is really good. His right hand's just as sharp as his dad's, and he's got great distance control. Really good at controlling distance. Really good at controlling the fight. But again, he he's kind of had lesser opponents, and I don't know, I hate to say it about Australians, but I feel like the levels are a little bit different. So when he, I think when he fights like a top person from overseas, that's when the real tests are going to come.
That's
and I'm excited for it.
His right hand's like his dad's, because his dad's right hand was.
Yeah, and that's Tim's, and it's Tim's exactly the same. It's the same kind of right hand, like the same. What's the word? My English is so good. I have bad vocabulary. It's like it's not the prospect, but he has the same potential. He has the same potential as his father with that right hand, because you don't see it. It's so short and sharp, and he hides it really well. And it's just, he's very accurate, and it's his accuracy. Like when you're so accurate and so sharp, that's what breaks down the opponents. He's a bit of a slow starter as well, but once he gets his range, that's when as soon as he gets his range, he might use a few rounds to get his range, and then he just picks his opponents apart. So yeah, obviously reaction to Tim Tszyu and Zab. Oh yes.
That was fun.
that was a great fight. Yeah.
Dance. That was Yep.
I liked Zab Judah as well. What a great fighter he was. Yeah.
All right, let's go ahead. I will let you go first.
Okay.
So you go first.
Chavez Taylor.
Chavez Taylor. good call there.
Yeah, I'm learning. Let's go.
Let's see. I'm gonna go Marco Eric over here.
All right. I gotta go Chavez Taylor again.
Chavez Taylor again. Okay. I'm gonna go Hagler Hearns. I'm trying to do better at watching the screen, so I'm playing kind of off the same way.
Yeah, right.
Yeah,
yeah, right.
I'm trying.
Yeah, keep trying. Gonna need it. I'll go Israel Rafael.
Israel Rafael. Okay, I'm gonna go Israel Rafael as well.
Okay. Chavez Taylor.
Okay. Well, I obviously have to go Chavez Taylor for the block. I see you. What you're trying to do over there.
Hagler Hearns. Oh no! Oh yeah! No, wait! I'm gonna take that back.
I was like, cool. That's cool with me.
No. Manny Juan.
All right.
Fuck, that backfired. All right. It's all right, Ebony.
Let's see. I'm gonna go Gatti Ward, I think.
Okay. All right. Manny Juan.
I don't like your big old cluster in the middle right there.
I know. I know what I'm doing.
Let's see. I'm gonna throw my little wrench in the mix to mess it up. Little Manny Juan there.
You're gonna do that. Okay.
You're like, okay.
Okay. Let's go, Gatti Ward.
All right. Oh, well done. I
just gotta remember.
Gotta remember it there.
Yeah.
Okay. Man, you got drastically better pretty quickly. You got a lot.
It's all about adapting. You know, you got to be able to adapt like that. It's like boxing. Right. You got to be able to adapt. You can't fuck around for round.
That first round.
Round, you got to.
I was gonna say I won that first round. Now I'm like I've got to strategize a little bit here.
Now you got to think a little bit, right? Yeah.
Right, a little bit here. Okay, I'm gonna go Marco Eric.
Okay, I'm gonna go Manny Juan.
Oh wow, well done over there. Damn it! All right, I'm going Hagler Hearns.
Okay. Okay.
You know you're going Hagler Hearns.
Yeah, I'm going Hagler Hearns. Yeah.
What do you got?
Hagler Hearns.
Okay. All right. Damn. Good job. All right. Let me see. It definitely is different looking at the screen. I will say it definitely is different doing that. Man, oh, that's not good. I gotta avoid that now. Okay, I'm gonna go Hagler Hearns as well. I need like some game show music for like the, like
yeah.
I need to put on some game show music.
Okay. Israel Rafael. God.
All right, I'm gonna go Marco Eric.
Okay, and then I'm gonna go Israel Rafael again.
Oh wow! Well done. You set it up. Wow, good job. Oh shit, that was yours. My bad. Israel Rafael. My bad.
Yeah, what the hell?
I've done that a few times. Look at that. Yeah. Wow, good. You set it up. Damn, you set it up on that
totally. I had like 3 options, and you know what? I'm like, no matter what, it's like almost checkmate right now. Like, you know,
Pretty much. Yeah, you said I didn't even notice I was coming with that one.
Yeah. I was impressed myself.
I was impressed with myself. Well done. Well, you got definitely you definitely got significantly better as the game went by.
Yeah. That's good.
That was fun.
Oh, yeah.
We got another question. What's your opinion of Vic Dracula or
Darchinyan? Darchinyan. Another great Aussie fighter. I mean, you know, if you think about all the Aussie fighters, we're all warriors. I mean, and Vic was the same. Like, just comes to fight. You know what I mean? Just lets his hands go. I think he was like 8 times. He has like 8 titles or something. I don't know. But yeah, I mean,
for a while. Yeah.
Long time. Yeah. And actually, do you know what did I watch the other day? Sorry, going off from Vic, but I was watched Castillo, who I really love as well.
Oh, I wanted to bring up Michael Katsidis. I love Katsidis.
Did you watch that fight against that Earl and Castillo? I was watching it the other day, and it was on for my Instagram. And man, they were just pumping each other. Like, it was crazy. Like, I mean, if you haven't watched, obviously you probably have watched it, but if you haven't watched Castillo and Earl, yeah, get onto that. Because I was watching that the other day, and I was just like, man, like, he's just like, yeah, crazy. I don't know why they did it.
I always love Katsidis' walk-in versus Casamayor when he had like the helmet and like the thing and then he looks over at the ring and looks over at. I'm like, oh yeah, and I love Casamayor, but I love that like kind of like that walkout was one of my favorite walkouts.
That's another good fight. Sorry, I could talk literally boxing all fucking day.
Yeah.
But Casamore and Corrales, wasn't that they were big fights as well. God. You know, another awesome fights. Those fights. So that just remind me of that fight when you said Casamore. I was like, oh, the Corrales fights. Yeah, they were fucking sick. Anyways,
and then there was that drama between the first one and the second one where like Casamayor was with Joe Goosen, I think. And then he ended up training Corrales for him. Do you remember that?
No.
So like Casamayor in the first Corrales fight was trained by Joe Goosen. And then for
then he went and trained the other guy.
Yeah.
Then he went and trained Corrales.
And Corrales came to California and was looking for a trainer and went to Joe, and Joe's like, cool. They was like, Casamayor left. And then Joe gave him the strategy on how to beat Casamayor.
Of course, because you would know. That's that's one thing about leaving a coach, and then that kind of thing that can definitely happen.
Yeah. Oh, that's another Castillo versus Marquez was incredible too.
Yes, true. This Raul Flores, he's got the question. Is how good is it? Also,
he knows his boxing. That's actually a buddy of mine.
Is it?
Yeah, like he definitely knows his boxing. Like
that's awesome.
Yeah, he.
I love that he knows. I love that he knows a lot of the Aussies too. Like, I love that. Yeah, because
no. Well, Ebony, thank you so much for being on. Good. I really appreciate you.
I loved it.
You have fun?
Yeah, I loved it. I mean, like I said, I can talk boxing. You're talking about all my favorite fights, so we can talk boxing forever. It was awesome. Yeah, I hope people tune in.
Intro when you came in, because you're a high school math teacher. You're like that's why I put on the title. You're not the average math teacher.
Yeah, and it's funny because I always reward my kids when they've done really well with like watching my fights or my boxing. Like literally, like yesterday, because they did an exam last week. And they did really well, and they did really good. And I said to them, I go, if you do good in your exam and you whatever, I go, I'll show you some of my boxing, you know, and they just love it. So yesterday we had like 15 minutes in, and I showed them my last fight, and they were just loving it. They're so good.
Awesome.
So
that's the one you had in the US, right?
Yeah, in Indiana, against that veteran Hoy. It was a great fight. I mean, there was a lot of things leading up to it. I mean, I think, considering everything that was going on in the lead up to that, I think I did really well, but I still know I can do so much better if like everything's, you know, good. And I actually went there without a coach. So it's my, you know, I went to America all by myself. I had my manager, and then I just met a coach there to be my corner and everything. So, you know, not being with people that you're familiar with was very different. But I had, you know, unfortunately, sometimes women's boxing, you got to do some things to make things happen. So
I was recently talking to, I had Sanisa on the show. And she said, she said something about how she was hoping to try to fight in July. And she was like, you know, it's hard because there's no training partners. She's like, but she was kind of used to it. She was like, because I'm like in female boxing, there isn't like people to spar sometimes, so you just kind of have to go through camps without sparring and things like that.
Yeah,
so I feel
I spar the boys.
Makes that kind of tougher,
Yeah, I mean, I spar the boys majority of the time, anyways, which I like. And then I go spar the girls, and I'm like, oh, this is good, because when you spar the boys all the time, and like it just really pushes you. And I mean, they don't hold back. Like anyone knows, they come to my gym, they watch me spar the boys. It's like I'm one of the boys, and they don't hold back. Like, I mean, and I don't hold back because they know if they don't punch me, I'm gonna punch the shit out of them. Right. So they got to like get the bitch off me.
That's why I had to come out the gate and just beat you down in the first game, just with the
right.
I know. I had to get my respect right away.
Right, exactly. Shit. Yeah, no. That wasn't
luck on the rest of your career. Looking forward to seeing.
Thank you. Nah, appreciate it, dude. All right, well, we'll let it go. But
thank you
awesome,
so much,
dude.
Ebony. I appreciate you being on the show.
Me too.
Guys, everyone follow Ebony on the bottom there on Instagram and Twitter. Ebony, just hang on for me a minute. I'm in the show, and then I want to just get the feedback on.
Yeah, of course. Yeah,
but,
no worries.
Thank you so much. So this is the interview. Like Larry Merchant's coming up to you. Ebony, you lost 2 out of 3. What on win by KO? What is your what do you got? Is this a post-fight interview?
Post-fight interview, yeah. Fucking Larry Merchant. No comment. Nah. Should I do the Floyd? Nah.
Blame it on the ring rust, whatever you gotta do.
I've been in COVID for like three months. Like I was rusty. I haven't had to use my brain. I was not there. My what from what I wore at weigh-in yesterday, it was really heavy. Like it really.
Is that a heavy pink
heavy.
Right there? Like 40
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, and my it's a lot of things. My legs were tired from wearing that lingerie. Like, I mean, it was tough.
Man,
so I just blaming it on that. Yeah, I'm definitely blaming it on that. I'm blaming it. I won't go into it. But I was gonna say, there's a lot of things, but no. I mean, I adapted and I came back a bit like Marquez. It might have taken me two rounds, but I absolutely demolished you in the last one.
Absolutely demolished me.
Because I learned. I didn't. I learned. I didn't really demolish you. I just used tactics. The first one your first win wasn't even fucking tactics. That was just me being COVID rusty.
I'll take it.
Is that enough excuses? Or do you need some more like I'm blonde?
Good. It was perfect. It was perfect. Thank you.
You're a legend.
Thank you everyone for watching. And
thanks guys.
See you to the next one.
Awesome. See ya.